my cue. Come on in. Well, thanks, Annabelle. Wow, what an incredible story. But it doesn't end quite there. After Jesus finishes telling the people what the Samaritan did for the injured man, he asks the expert in God's law a pretty important question. He says, 3 men went on the road that day: the priest, the Levite, and the Samaritan. Which one of these 3 men do you think was a neighbour to the man who was attacked by the robbers? What do you think the expert said? Come on, shout it out. That's right. The expert replies that the Samaritan was in fact the true neighbour in the story. And Jesus' response? Well, he just wastes no time in telling him to go and do the same thing the Samaritan did. Help others who are in need. Now, in this story, it's important to understand a bit of the history. Samaritans and Jews weren't just people from different countries who wouldn't have known each other. They hated each other. And the idea of a Samaritan and a Jew even having a conversation with one another would have been almost unthinkable in those days. It'd be like having Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader helping each other out, or the trolls and the Bergens brushing each other's hair. It just wouldn't have happened. Now, the priest and the Levite were both Jewish men who were extremely religious and important in society. They would have both worked in the temple and known all of God's laws, yet they didn't stop to help one of their own who is in such bad shape. They looked the other way. This would have been really shocking for the people listening to Jesus. You see, Jesus' Jewish audience would have expected the Jewish characters in the story to be the goodies, the ones to save the day. They would certainly never have expected a Samaritan to be the hero. It would have caused quite a stir. But this is exactly why Jesus told this story. He wanted the message to really hit home. He deliberately used shock tactics to get his listeners to sit up and pay attention. The Good Samaritan story is a perfect example of what it means to be a Christian. Jesus makes it plain that loving our neighbour means loving anyone in need, regardless of who they are or where they come from. Our relationship with them shouldn't matter either. According to Jesus, we should love all people, even those we might not like or get along with very well. Our enemies, as it were. I know, so challenging, right? Nevertheless, at the end of the day, we still have a choice. Jesus tells us to love our neighbours and our enemies, but we have to choose to do those things. And it's making that choice that can be really hard. Sometimes things can be really sad or difficult to look at or see. So what do we do when that happens? Well, we tend to avoid them. The priest and the Levite didn't like the look of the man attacked by the robbers. He was a bit dirty and unclean. So they probably thought it was easier to just walk on by. Or perhaps they were scared or put off by the man's scruffy appearance. But was it the right choice? Did it please God? In this next video, some children like you have a tough choice to make. Bit like the one the priest and the Levite were faced with. They're given some money and told they can either choose to use it to help someone in need or buy an ice cream for themselves. Take a look at what happens. I love the happy endings in that clip. I wonder though, what would you have done? Now, we've learnt that God doesn't force us to help anyone, but when we do, it really pleases him. The Holy Spirit can also help us to love people who we might find a bit tricky. We just have to ask him. How awesome is that? Now, this bit is important, so sit up, switch those listening ears on and show me you're ready. Great, right. Our church is part of an amazing project called Love Your Neighbour. It exists to provide emergency food and supplies to people in our neighbourhood who are in real need. Lots of your grown-ups have helped to make it a lifeline for people in crisis within our community, but now we need your help. We would like you to share some love with these neighbours of ours by colouring in one of the beautiful love-themed pictures like this one. You can choose and print one directly below this video. And when it's done, ask your grown-ups to really nicely to send it in to us so that we can put one in every box that we send out to these people. We want 40 pictures to send 40 messages of love and hope to these people in need. The address of where to send them to is on the screen, and we just can't wait to see them. I hope you're up for that. Now, all that's left for me to say is be more Samaritan, be more love, and find out what that means in one of our videos below this one. See you soon!